and bearded Barmy Army are thinking about a possible trip to Old Trafford. They did it last year, got into the playoffs with 7 wins in a row. If they win tonight, it'll be 4 wins in a row. We're live on Sky Sports HD, of course, and it's available tonight in stunning 3D as well. The boys in the commentary box, Rod Studd, Terry O'Connor and John Keir, who's got a pretty special affinity with this particular club, of course, the Wakefield Wildcats. Players are ready, the referee is ready, the pitch is in magnificent condition, the temperatures have cooled down a bit. Lee Smith gets us underway, high and deep, and almost catching Widnes napping. Kevin Brown was leaving it to Rhys Hambury, and then suddenly it dawned on him that no one was coming, and so Brown just got a hand to it, but Widnes retained possession.
Yeah, and saved the dropout there. That really would have been a real early error for this Widnes outfit. They know that Wakefield have got the momentum. There's the incident. Just got a fingertip to it. Just slowed it down.
But here come the Widnes Vikings here with Allen. And he got the ball away, and it was a desperate tackle back by Ben Cockayne on Cameron Phelps. And now it's Brown who dinks it into the in-goal area. Big race on here. Whoa! Mathers to the rescue.
Great work, wasn't it? Kevin Brown realised that Richard Mathers just out of it. Look at them. There's the ball come loose, and then they take advantage of it. Beautiful pass on the inside. That really was great work. Fantastic stuff. But you've got to give a lot of credit to Ben Cockayne. He got back, but the kick from Brown, sensational. Mathers just to the rescue.
Stephen Marsh, so quick to that. And good job that Mathers was the first to react. A goal line dropout then, forced by Widnes in the opening minute. And here they come again on their second major attack. Oh, Paul Ayton went in heavily then against Alex Gerrard, and Ayton came off second best. He's all right, though. He's in the defensive line.
I'm not so sure about that, Eddie. He really took a big knock there, Paul Ayton. So many great matchups, none better than Tim Smith and Kevin Brown. They'll be the architects. Oh, that's a good opportunity. Surely it's the first knock on. Well,
they play knock on either way, won't they? The first knock on, you're right, was by Widnes and by Gareth Hock.
Not the best pass. He really should have just held on to that. You could see that Hock was put under a lot of pressure. Interesting, you talk about Gareth Hock. He's a fiery character. And on the Wakefield side, they prop forward Justin Poor. I think we might see fireworks between those two tonight.
Well, sometimes players like Gareth Hock want the ball nice and early. Don't take it to the line. Don't put somebody like that under pressure, because he's got eyes for everybody. He needs to know who he's looking at and probably who's going to hit him.
Well, originally Richard Silverwood gave head and feet to Widnes, and then he asked video referee Steve Ganson to check whether Gareth Hock had got a hand to it and whether it had bounced off him forwards, which of course it did, and that's the reason why Wakefield in all red tonight, this special strip, they now have got first use of the ball, and we're 2 minutes in. This is Paul Sykes, and he gets the pass away, and it's a rumbustious run coming in from Frankie Mariano.
But we all know that Widnes
fighting for his feet.
We all know throughout this season that Widnes' biggest problem has been their defence, but it's pretty spot on at the moment. They're eager, they're getting run. Oh, that's silly to give away a penalty there.
Yes,
just
they didn't
messing
clear.
Around.
Didn't clear quick enough for the referee Richard Silverwood's liking, holding down in the tackle. Mathers was fighting for his feet.
And that's good work by the official Silverwood. We all like to see an open game, and I tell you what, the pitch is in immaculate condition. There'll be plenty of points scored tonight, I have a feeling.
Kyle Amor will take it forward once again for the Wildcats. He had a great night at Hull last Monday. This is Tim Smith now. Here's Sykes, and Sykes with a drop of the shoulder. They nearly took the dummy. Good work from Paul Sykes. Eamon O'Carroll over the top and brought him down. Gets to his feet a little groggily. Here's Smith again. Back he comes to Washbrook. That's Mariano. This is Lee Smith. He's got Cockayne outside him. Good work in defence, though, particularly from Danny Craven. Ben Cockayne sweeps the pass to Smith, and he'll take it in. Will Justin Poor. He'll do that all night for the Wildcats. Paul Ayton to Tim Smith again. Back it comes to Sykes. Sykes then to Mathers. They're lined up down that right-hand side. A little kick through. One to change. Great try for Dean Collis. First blood to the Wildcats. They've won the last 3, aiming to make it 4 in a row tonight. And they've won each of the last 5 against Widnes since 2005. They did the double over them last year. They've beaten them already at Widnes in March this year, and they're up and running again.
This is the pass that really should have been kept away from Gareth Hawk. He'd already gone there, just got the touch. Then they give away the silly penalty. Richard Silverwood screaming to get off him. They failed to do that. This is a great kick. Wonderful stuff by the fullback. Mathers, they knew exactly what was happening, and Dean Collis takes it. Fantastic play. It's all about putting yourself in a good position, and Collis knew. Tremendous little grubber through there by the fullback Richard Mathers. Boy, that is a confidence boost. Though it looks as though he may have pulled something there.
Yes, he looks a bit concerned, Dean Collis. He hadn't scored in the last 2. But that's his 12th try of the season. 5 in the previous 4 for Dean Collis. And here comes Lee Smith, the hero of the hour at Hull last week, to try and add the extras into the setting sun that's right in his face. Perfect night. Short sleeve shirts all over the place, and Smith makes no mistake, right between the H's, and Wakefield lead by 6 points to 0.
What a great start for a game of rugby. Well, we had 5-6 minutes in the match. Widnes had their chance to attack, but Wakefield's recovery was sufficient. They got the ball over the play. Richie Mathers it was who saved a try at one end and sets one up at the other with a nice kick here through for his teammate. The Wildcats seem to enjoy the conditions, the Monday night game, and they've certainly got off to another great start.
Yes, they do enjoy their Monday night rugby league, do the Wakefield Wildcats. Here is their skipper, Danny Kermond. A great start for Wakefield on an important day for them, because I was talking to the owner of the club, Andrew Glover, and the chief executive, James Elston, just before this game started. And great news about the new stadium site for the Wakefield Wildcats at Junction 30 on the M62. Plans for a massive cold store operation have been lodged with the local council. If that gets the nod, it'll open up the site for the future ground development, and the club say that 2/3 of the funding for that's in place. So it has really taken a big step forward today for their future.
Well, I've been disappointed so many times, and also Dennis Betts will be disappointed with this. It was a swinging arm from Dave Allen. That's a second silly penalty they've given away. You can't afford to do that, especially with the home crowd behind the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats.
Mariano takes it in on the first tackle. Ayton gets the ball away to Sykes. The runner is Justin Poor. He tries to barge over the top of Eamon O'Carroll. O'Carroll and Clark pull him down. Ayton gets it away to Tim Smith. He's always busy, is Tim Smith. And it's good work, actually, from Kevin Brown to bring him to the floor. Lee Smith is the dummy half. Here comes Kermond again.
You can see Wakefield, they want to get a quick play the ball all the time. It was wonderful work by the hooker, Paul Ayton.
There is the hooker again at dummy half. Finds Sykes, finds Mathers. Mathers is halted by the challenge initially from number 12, Dave Allen.
Will this be a bomb, or will they go for the corner?
It's high off the boot of Smith. It's a cracking kick. It's right on the try line, and that's a penalty, though, because he was taken out, was Hanbury in the air.
And he's picked up a knock, Eddie. He's gone in awkward there. The knees have gone into Cocaine. This is painful. It was a good take by Hanbury. He was definitely in air, so the penalty has to be given, but he came off second best, this fella.
Well, he couldn't stop, could he? And he seemed impossible to change direction at the last minute. And the small differences, aren't there, between your player staying on side and trapping him illegally in goal, getting legally, I should say, in goal, getting a goal line dropout. Very little separates teams. We'll probably all forget that incident at the end of the match, but that was a possible 6-point opportunity for the Wildcats that they didn't take.
Well, Phil, I think they've worked on the kicking game. I don't think it's any surprise to the players that when Richie Mathers put that ball behind the line, there was plenty of chasers. Collis picked it up on that occasion, and I have the suspicion that Ben Cocaine was ready for that kick on that second one. Couldn't keep his distance or discipline, and unfortunately surrendered possession.
Long kick down the line, a bit hopeful, really. There was not much chance that Jack Owens would get anywhere near that. I think there's some injury news. Brian Carney is the man on sideline tonight.
Yes, absolutely, Eddie. 8 minutes into this game, and that man, Dean Collis, the right centre for the Widnes, or for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, and a big strike player for them. has pulled his hamstring. He's come into the game with the hamstring bandaged up, and you can see immediately that he knew there's something wrong. He's come off, he's getting treatment. It's heavily iced here on the sideline. It doesn't look like he's going to take any further part in this game. That, for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats and their attack and defence, is a huge blow.
Well, we see there that looked a pretty late challenge with the shoulder from Justin Poor. And I'm not so sure that we might hear something later about that. What say you, Mr. Cummins?
I think it's just a late challenge. There's no contact with the head, so it's probably just going to be clear that the penalty's awarded in the right position, which is where the ball landed.
And so that puts Widnes on the front foot here with Dave Allen, and he's wrestled to the ground by Ayton. That was John Clark who got the ball away from dummy half, and Kyle Amor having to be swift. John Clark again. And here's Kevin Brown chiming in. Long pass wide, brilliantly taken out of the air by Arvan. And Widnes are on the scoreboard. Booming pass out down the left-hand side, and Arvan rose. He really is a fan's favourite, this fellow, Patrick Arvan. He signed on until the end of 2015 now for the Vikings, and he can finish.
Well, there you can see that Justin Poor certainly took him out. And from that position, what a beautiful pass by Kevin Brown. We talk about the skill factor throughout this Super League, and it doesn't come much better than that. Completely sucked in the winger, allowed a clean run for the big fella, Patrick Arvan, but that is quality. Utilised the dummy run, and nothing that Kerman could do about that. And the visitors' Widnes are well and truly back in this game. He's such a talent, Kevin Brown. That was a major reason why they paid big money from Huddersfield. Dennis Bett said we needed someone to sort them out, put them around, push them around the field of play, and it doesn't come much better than that from Kevin Brown's pass.
Yes, terrific pass out wide, and Arvan leaping like a salmon, plucking it out of the air and plonking the ball down over the line. It makes for a difficult conversion attempt here. On its way from the boot of Owens, and it's just not quite reached the mark.
Well, Eddie, I know we have ref cam in the game these days, but it's a shame we don't have player cam, because I think Kevin Brown's eyes are firmly fixed on Peter Fox. He'll have looked at it during the week and know he's got a tendency just to bite in too much, and that would release Patrick Arvan, who hugged the touchline. And as we mentioned before the match, that left edge for Widnes is lethal.
Yes, they just have to defend as well as they can attack, Widnes, and they will be moving up this table. Such a big game, this, because after the results of the weekend, Wakefield, they get 2 points tonight. They're a point off the playoffs. And if Widnes get the 2 points, I think the gap is just 4 for them, all to play for come the end of the season.
Certainly is, and I must say that Richard Agar must get the message out of Peter Fox there out on that right wing. With ball in hand, is capable of scoring tries, but he does have a very bad habit of not putting himself in front of the opposition winger. He allowed that opportunity for Patrick Arvan.
Hanbury has chimed into the line, and he finds Brown. They're going down the left side again. Stephen Marsh is very quick and very elusive. They can't lay a hand on him until Justin Poor got the legs.
Got to be a quick play of the ball, get the high ball up on the last.
With Kevin Brown, he drills it towards the sideline. He was being hunted by Danny Kermond as well.
Well, Eddie, I think they're having a real look at Peter Fox here. Peter Fox, as we see the kick, just going to touch, slowing the game down. Peter Fox, late on in the tackle count, needs to drop back just to allow his fullback to bite off a little bit and give him some support, give him some help, and that's precisely where they went. As Peter Fox has dropped back, that's where they're trying to get the ball to that space.
7 days ago, Lee Smith's drop goal won the game against Hull. This is Wakefield's 200th home weekly round fixture in Super League. And they have, there he is, Lee Smith. They've only won 85 so far of those previous 199. Can they make it number 86 tonight and really give themselves a chance of getting back into those playoffs for the second year in succession?
Well, they've already won 3, Eddie, and they're on their way, remember, as you mentioned earlier, in regards to the fact they had 7 on the trot. They get in the semi-final, got the opportunity, nice step from Smith, but good work by
this is going to be a penalty because Gareth Hock came in with a shoulder charge.
He didn't miss it, the official.
No, he spotted it, and he's calling Gareth Hock to him, and it's a penalty. Nothing wrong with that. That was the tackle on Lee Smith.
No, mate, you've turned. Shoulder charge.
It's a shoulder charge, and the referee gives the Wildcats a penalty.
Well, we often say it, don't we, that in any sport, but especially in rugby league, and it was late. Certainly was late by Hock. You can't afford to just give any opposition that good field position, and that's the third time that they've done that. They're letting Wakefield off the hook.
I think it's very hard, though, at his age now, to take that sort of aggression out to Gareth Hock, Steve. It's just not going to happen. That's him. If you buy him, then that's what he will do, and he'll come up with some brilliant things, but occasionally he can concede some penalties, and it puts his team under pressure here now, as Aiden's looking dangerous, isn't it? When the hooker, the man behind the play the ball, starts to pick it up and run forward, it causes a lot of doubt for the defenders.
Tim Smith does exactly the same. Kermond clash of heads with Kevin Brown, and Brown is hurt. His hand has immediately gone to his face. This is Tim Smith. Justin Poor grounded by the tackle from Dave Allen. Last one coming up here for Wakefield. Tim Smith hangs on to it somehow, changes direction, slides the kick through, and Eamon O'Carroll and Rhys Hanbury making a bit of a porridge of it. Oh, Danny Kermond.
Oh, dearie me, Patrick Arvan, he couldn't see the van coming, he couldn't see the bus coming. Boom! Oh, you love it.
Cameron Phelps takes it forward. Danny Kermond, no wonder they've got banners about him here at this ground. Danny Kermond's bearded Barmy army.
He's been a hero this season, hasn't he? I mean, he really has led by example, and as you say, he's playing with an injury.
And he's priceless, according to his coach, Richard Agar.
Yep. Tough as a nut.
Mathers will take it forward. He's looking for the 70th try of his career tonight. He didn't score at Hull, so he's on a milestone, and that's a shame for Peter Fox. He's gone without it. It's a free play here for Widnes. Stephen Marsh will take it forward. He'll hang on, so the advantage is over, and the tackle count will start with a 0. And here comes Hock again. Gets the offload away to Kevin Brown. Here's Rhys Hanbury.
They need a second phase now. Keep your eye out wide on this right-hand side.
They're coming this way. Craven pops it up to Hep Cahill. 10 metres away. They're grounded on tackle number 2, this set of 6. Clark weighing up the options, decides to go the other way. Finds Kevin Brown. Brown then to Hanbury. Another long pass. Oh, and straight through the slips. Patrick Arvan, straight through the legs and through the hands.
Boy, what a let-off for Wakefield. And again, look at the positional play from Peter Fox. It's all over the shop.
Mike, but if you're outnumbered because they brought the fullback into the line, do you want the winger to stay out or allow the centre to come through, or do you think he comes in? If his team and coach encourage him to come in with the centre and close down the men and say, listen, if you can get the ball to the winger, we'll accept that. But that bit of skill isn't easy, and that's what a lot of teams choose to do. They will allow the man space, but getting the ball there is not easy.
Phil, he should be in front of the man and the winger. I can assure you that Richard Agar will be very, very concerned about the fact. And listen, Widnes, their coach Dennis Betts, he realises there's a big problem with Peter Fox in his positional play.
And he's just come up with another error. Here's another error from Fox. He's knocked on at the play the ball here. There.
And he's just having a nightmare. It's as simple as that. Remember, he knocked on from that short ball just barely seconds ago.
He's 16 tries to his name this year, though. He's their top scorer. Now here comes Cameron Phelps for Widnes. Mariano stood his ground. Help from Tim Smith and Big Ali Lauatiti. Jack Owens at dummy half for Widnes. Here is Cahill again. Hep Cahill, he was a substitute in the 2010 World Club Challenge win for Melbourne against Leeds. Now here he is at Widnes. And here are the Vikings looking to prise open this Wakefield defensive line once again. Ball is played by Hock. It's Craven. He gets it away. And real struggle. And ooh, it's so close. So close to the line there, Widnes. Clark waits again. Oh, and there was a real mix-up there. That was off the knees of Eamon O'Carroll.
What a golden opportunity thrown away. There was nothing wrong the pass. O'Carroll should have been the dummy runner. Kevin Brown was out on the left-hand side. He was screaming for it. He should have been the dummy runner. Just got in the way.
Chance goes begging for Widnes then. Big Ali Lauatiti. Still a threat. 10 years at the top in Super League. He's 34 on this coming Saturday, is Big Ali.
And every time he gets the ball, Eddie, the opposition go to him because they know how dangerous he is of offloading.
We've got two of the best offloaders in the game here. Ali Lauatiti, special offloads, and Gareth Hock, sometimes they're a little bit risky, a little bit ugly, but his teammates expect it, and they can feed off the back of that.
Oh, that's well played by John Clark, but I think it's a knockdown against Clark. Washbrook turned and tried to offload, and Clark, I think, got a fingertip to it, so it's head and feet here to the Wildcats.
Boy, got good eyes, Richard Silverwood, and he's got it right. Just got the fingernail, I feel.
Widnes will face Wigan in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals next Monday night. That's live on Sky Sports. That's a daunting prospect for them. Mariano now for the Wildcats. Ben Cockayne. The club have turned down. Oh, hello. That's a bit of a lift by Cameron Phelps. The Wakefield club have turned down an approach from Hull KR to take Ben Cockayne back to Craven Park.
That's a good run from Lauatiti. Really did get over the advantage line. They're using the big fellas there, but that's good defence. Great work there by O'Carroll.
Yes, took him, didn't he? Took him to ground. Ayton. Oh, and Amor went without it.
And that was a forward pass anyway, and they know it. He overrun it.
Just gone a bit scrappy in the last 5-10 minutes.
Yep. And he knows it, Kyle Amor. He should have come from a little bit deeper.
Eddie, I think that's probably a fatigue, isn't it, setting on? And maybe the reason now why we'll see first fresh bodies coming on, substitutes, front rowers, the men in the middle tend to get rotated by the coaches, and they have to make a decision when they think is the right time. I think Wakefield have just done that here now, bringing in number 10, Andy Raleigh on, taking one of the other big guys off.
Yeah, Justin Poor, the man who makes his way to the sideline. Andy Raleigh comes into the side. He's seeking the 60th try, by the way, of his long career. 11 years in the top for Andy Raleigh. Here comes Hock again. He just brushes away from Sykes. He's a belligerent player, isn't he,
He certainly
Gareth?
is, and he attracts 2, 3, sometimes 4. Interesting to see whether Widnes now can get anywhere near the halfway line. This defence from Wakefield has been pretty good.
Yeah, they have made slightly more metres, Widnes, though, and that's to credit of them. Here's the kick charge down. You'd expect them to be perhaps in front, but there's very little between these two sides, and a lot of quick play the balls from Wakefield, I think, has helped them to make some good ground.
Mathers to his feet. Here's Cockayne again, taking on the youngster Jack Owens. Owens does well, stands his ground. Down he goes on the second tackle. Disentangles himself from the grounded bodies. Here's Raleigh, first touch for him.
He nearly lost it, didn't he, Cockayne? Well, there's one thing doing a quick play of the ball, and there's also, you know, good running from Ayton from dummy half. But I've got to... Oh, look at what a big hit that was. Alan. Sometimes it just got to calm it down a bit. Was that a knockdown from Widnes?
No, he's dropped it.
Or did he lose it?
He's dropped it. It's a knock on by Paul Ayton. Paul Sykes is struggling in back play, by the way.
Yeah, that was a just big hit there by John Clark, and his opposite number, Paul Ayton. I'm just saying that Richard Agar will be a little bit disappointed because they've got such a good kicking game with Tim Smith and the likes of Paul Sykes that they just have to get into a good position and then force and try to get the second set of 6. They're failing to do that, getting a little bit excited.
I don't know how long Paul Sykes will be staying out there. He looks really groggy on this near side, just defending in from Ben Cockayne. He's been plagued by ankle problems this year.
Yeah, he's definitely limping, that's for sure. It's a concern for Agar. Now then, will Widnes pinpoint him? He's out on that left-hand side. He can hardly run.
Gerrard plays the ball to Clark. This is Hep Cahill again, straight at Raleigh. Takes the tackle, does Cahill. Will get to his feet and play it to Clark again. Clark gives it to Danny Craven. And then Dave Allen moves the ball in a diagonal fashion towards those posts. But this is the last one coming up for Widnes, and it's with Craven, who hoists it high. And this is taken right on the goal line by Peter Fox.
Well, did he have 1 foot in and 1 foot out?
I thought so.
I thought he moved from the in-goal area and claimed it in the field of play, but Richard Silverwood's closest to it than we are.
Either they got it wrong or not, it was a good run by Peter Fox.
It was a pathetic chase. That's a brilliant kick. If your teammate puts the ball up and come down on the line at that point, you expect some Widnes players to be up there challenging and contesting for that ball.
Foot on the line means that that is diffused in goal. Is that right, Stuart?
That's right. If he's got 1 foot either side of the line, as long as he starts off with 1 foot in the in-goal area, it's been caught in the in-goal area. So the 20-metre restart was correct.
Good stuff. 23 minutes gone, 6-4, a bit tight at Wakefield, tighter than they thought it might be, I think.
Be interested to see how Widnes do in this set. I watched the last set as we just see a penalty. Wakefield spending too long trying to buy that extra second, but they were keeping their runs around the ruck to slow it down, burn up some energy from the big man. You just see Danny Kerman go in. He's not allowed to join back into that tackle once he's come out of it, but they're trying to burn up the gas of players like Andy Raleigh, who's just come in. So everything's tight, well constructed.
4 forwards on the substitutes bench for Wakefield. Paul Sykes continues to battle on, but he doesn't look well at all. Dean Collis off with a hamstring problem, so they have major problems. They have more here, but that's a very important ankle tap on Reece Hanbury. Was it by Tim Smith?
Danny Kerman, probably the best player in Super League over the last few weeks I've seen him play. Sensational back rower, whether he's running the ball or defending. His speed and athleticism certainly saved his team on that occasion.
So Clark from dummy half gives it to Kevin Brown. Widnes fancy their chances here, but not with passing like that from Brown to Amor. Here's Lauatiti.
Oh, he's offside. Accidental
they go
offside.
Back for the scrum. They'll go back for the original offence again.
Yeah, very fortunate. Very fortunate indeed. Okay, you can take the risk with this new rule. Amor did well. Lauatiti, as is normally the case.
Stuart, how come that was decided to be a knock-on rather than a misplaced pass, was it?
But it went forward off Sykes, and the player that originally was in front of him ended up behind him because Sykes had moved forward, so that's why it wasn't a penalty. So the ball's actually gone forward from the hand, and it hasn't been passed, so that's why it'll be classed as a knock-on.
So we go back for the free play now for forward passes as well.
The original forward pass from Kevin Brown.
Okay. Well, now we have a penalty at the scrum anyway.
And very rare to get a penalty.
Well, Mike, they're coming
binding.
back into fashion. There's a few this week here now, this weekend. I think the referees are just fed up with the scrums being too messy. And the whole idea why a lot of people watch Rugby League is to see the team attack from a scrum. 7-on-7, quick backs. But with the forwards breaking so quickly, that rarely happens. And it's great to see the referees now trying to keep the forwards in that space for a little longer.
Stuart, could I just press rewind and go back to that? I thought the free play was for knock-ons only.
No, knock-ons and forward pass.
Okay.
Any infringement that would incur a scrum.
Okay. You live and learn in this job every day, don't you?
I've been doing for many, many years, Eddie. The thing that let's hope that this is not going to creep in, because you know they don't really have scrums these days, and it surprises me that anybody could give away a penalty.
This is Washbrook for the Wildcats. I think Paul Sykes has finally raised the white flag. He's gone off as Wakefield attacks. Smith with a little dab through. Hanbury's after it. Cockayne gets him and pushes him in to the in-goal area.
And that's Matty Wild has just come on, taking the place of Paul Sykes. But again, the kicking game, and that is great from the winger, Ben Cockayne.
And Steve-O, that was good for them on that first try. You remember, the kick was put in by Richie Mathers. The chase was good by Collis. The same on that occasion, and Ben Cockayne forces the goal line drop out.
And that's what you need from the likes of Tim Smith, as you say, Baz, mainly due to the fact that it applies the pressure. And look what they've got. They've got a second set of 6. There'll be a drop out from underneath the sticks.
Yeah, Matty Wildy is on. He can play halfback, but he's generally regarded in this part of the world as a hooker. Hence the reason I thought it was 4 forwards on the bench, and it is 4 forwards on the bench.
John, wait, go, 1.
And here comes Ayton. And it looks as though he might actually be taking the hooking role here, Wildy. Now it's Tim Smith looking for the support that arrives from Mathers, but that's well watched by Craven.
Eddie, you talk about the fact Wakefield have got all forwards on the bench. Remember, they've already lost now 2-3 quarters. They've lost Collins and Paul Sykes. They've got to rejig things.
Washbrook, wide they go to Kermond. Kermond! Oh, so close for the skipper.
Deserved it.
And they're trying to pinch one from dummy half, and they've been pushed back. But pushed back illegally because the leg came up.
Yep.
And I think Kevin Brown was the man who lifted the leg. It wasn't Gareth Hock, I don't think.
Either way, it's a penalty to the home side.
Yes, it's Kevin Brown.
Well, the leg cocked up, and he just couldn't resist it, could he? He didn't intend it, but the leg just came up before it, and he thought, well, I'll put my arm around, and got done.
And the leg belonged to Matty Wildy, who's just on, and he's now receiving treatment. It's a fairly expensive night for the Wildcats, isn't Richard Agar, isn't it?
Certainly is, and he knows that they've got to muscle up now. With all that weight out there, they're running out of 3 quarters in many ways. Watch the leg go up there, and then he just gets underneath it.
Well, just to give some sanity to what Kevin Brown is doing, he's trying to drive him back, take his power base, his legs away from him. We're just glad that the play's okay.
Oh, and now then that bounces up, and here comes Head Cahill. This is a free play, remember. Head Cahill, a loose forward. Kermond's after him again. Can he get the pass away? No, he can't.
Well, remember his chase last week at Hull?
Yes.
He tracked back and he didn't save a try. Here he's just saved 4 more.
And Marsh going nowhere, only into the 2 defenders. Phelps will spring it wide to Brown. Here is Craven. Oh, and he was looking for somebody who wasn't there. Well, it's end-to-end stuff, and it's all on the back of mistakes at the moment. It's a little bit ugly, I'm afraid,
yeah,
but it's entertaining for all of that.
It is, and they're all panicking. Good position there by Cockayne. That's what he's capable of doing. Opportunity here. When he sees a half break, it's great to see a winger put him to... What on earth are they doing out there? Both coaches are going, Kermond!
Mathers will have a little scoot from dummy half. He get the ball away to Raleigh. Raleigh will take the second tackle. 35 metres away from the line. Here's Washbrook. This is Mariano. Oh, he's straight through Dave Allen. He wasn't through. He was almost through Craven, but he's not through the next man in. That's McGrath Lulawai, isn't it? And here goes Lauatiti! To the delight of the local fans. Ali Lauatiti. Well, 34 years young next Saturday. 4th appearance in a row off the bench. And more importantly for him, his first try of 2013 in the Super League. Big Ali has pushed Wakefield further in front.
Certainly has, but he took the opportunity. This was a break. They really should have done better with it. It was sheer panic. It was great work by Head Cahill. And look at Kermond, the man that got there in the end. Super stuff. And then they had the mistake. Mariano, quick play the ball. And you watch how Danny Craven slips here. He's on the floor. Lauatiti takes full advantage of that. Lauatiti sees that Craven has slipped. See you later. Throws the dummy. Never mind being the provider. One of the best offloaders in Super League. He's gone on a solo.
So Lauatiti gets the second try for the Vikings, for the Wildcats rather, in this first half. They're leading 10-4, and Lee Smith with the opportunity to make it 12-4 with his second successful conversion. Just a word about Frankie Mariano, by the way. He went out on dual registration to Featherstone. They played him a little bit in the centres while he was over there. He's a back row forward, but they're doing okay with him in the centres right now, and Wakefield are doing all right. They're 12-4 up, and the run looks like it might keep going.
And Eddie, I was just going to make that point about Frankie Mariano. That's the versatility of the modern day rugby league player. Makes his name as a forward, and then he's pushed into the centre, and there's a real mismatch with Stephen Marsh from the Widnes club, who's going to have the devil's own job to pull the big fella down all day.
High kick off underneath it, Tim Smith. He gives it to Raleigh. Wildy is the dummy half. I think Brian's got some more news for us.
Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. There's two guys sitting down here on the bench that will take no further part in the game, and two who are going to have an increased workload. The increased workload will go on the shoulders of Justin Poor and Kylan Moore. The reason for that is the aforementioned Dean Collis will take no further part in this game. Neither will Paul Sykes. On his left calf, he's picked up an injury that will mean he will probably have to make his way to the change rooms at half-time on crutches. So he's out of the game, and it means Richard Agar's job is made a whole lot harder as his interchange options have been cut in half.
Well, that looks a fairly tough call against the Vikings, that.
Well, there was a hand in there by Cameron Phelps. It's, obviously... Oh! How on earth has he kept hold of the ball after that?
Was that another shoulder charge by McGrath Luluai?
Well, it certainly looked slightly that way, but how on earth did he keep hold of the football?
Here comes Kermond again, fed by Washbrook.
This was impact time, wasn't it?
Well, the arms were up. The arms were up. Ayton, Tim Smith, Washbrook, Lauatiti again. Don't let him get up ahead of steam. That's the message to Widnes. Great offload to Tim Smith. The pass was to the touch judge, and I don't think Tim Roby's playing.
Well, a golden opportunity there, but look at that for good defence. Is this a shoulder charge? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Do you know, that's a real shame. That's why I watch our game. That good, tough, hard collisions like that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
First contact by the shoulder. Stuart, you are the judge and jury.
You're looking for a shoulder charge, you're looking for a rotation, and you're looking for the arm tucked in. Neither of those things happened on that. You know, you can argue that he doesn't get his arm around him, but he definitely leads.
He hits him with his shoulder, Stuart.
Yes, most tackles occur with the shoulder. It's where the arm is, Eddie.
He was down by his side.
The reason he knocked him off his feet, Eddie, is he wasn't expecting the challenge. He's come from 2 or 3 out, and McGrath Luluai, a bit like Phil Joseph, who's come on for the Widnes Vikings, they throw every single ounce of the body into each and every challenge.
Don't you just love your Monday Night Super League, and don't you just love the debate that it gives you?
Well, you've created it.
I like it physical. I'm not going to apologise for it. I love that challenge.
Here is Clark stepping through the tulips, gets it away to Owens.
Well, I must say, Jack Owens playing the ball now, he did marvellous to put himself in front and apply the pressure.
Danny Craven's kick, not the best.
No, not the best at all.
Fox will return it as far as Stephen Marsh and Gareth Hock. 6 to the half-time siren, 12-4 to Wakefield. This run of theirs continuing. Really is like 2012, isn't it? You get the feeling that something's building here.
Yeah, and this is where you've got to use a little bit of brains. Wakefield don't have to be too smart, though. They've got it out wide.
They have to Fox.
It's got to be good positional play here.
He almost fell over the Widnes player then.
You know, it was all created by the winger, Ben Cockayne, who should be on the left wing, but gets involved over on the right. In fact, it's impossible for him to get on the end of this pass.
And Lauatiti again skips away from Owens. Goes through Craven, forward to Mathers.
Good position there by Richard Silverwood. You've got to give him credit for that. He's not too impressed, Richard Agar.
No, he'll see the replay and he'll realise he's got it right.
Yep. It's just in front of the line, whereas you can see Lauatiti has got nowhere near the line. But look at the position of the official.
It is forward, but that's every player in Super League. That's their worst nightmare. To have Ali Lauatiti one-on-one, holds it in his left hand. He's got wonderful balance, a sensational offloader of the ball. Looks like he's breathing in the big ones now. And at 34...
you're right. I just hope it is that, because Kyle Wood's been transferred out of Wakefield to Huddersfield. They've not got the biggest squad in the world. John Clark is struggling as well.
And that will be a bitter blow if this guy has to leave the field of play. I mean, he's the architect of most of the attack from Widnes. He's the man that they go to.
This might see Grant Gore come on at 9.
Now John Clark's made of stern stuff. He's going back into the scrum that's about to pack down.
Well, he loves nothing better, does he?
Our best player of 2013, says Dennis Betts of John Clark, the veteran.
I wouldn't argue over that, Eddie, but it was wonderful to see Lauatiti not just offload, but what about the step? It was a wonderful sidestep for such a big man.
Well, he's lit up the Super League scene for so long, hasn't he? Lauatiti with his acrobatics. Cahill will get to his feet, play it to Clark, and up the middle they go.
This is where Brown has to inject himself into the game.
Joseph to Brown. Short ball then to Gareth Hock, who was clattered as soon as he received the ball. Wilkes downstairs and Washbrook upstairs. Kevin Brown dummy half, going down that left channel again. The referee has seen something. There's a penalty here for Widnes. An incident off the ball.
I think this might be a shoulder charge, Eddie.
I didn't see this one.
There it is.
Shoulder charge off the ball.
Well, let's see if the...
There. You see the rotation and the arms tucked in at the side by Wilkes, and that's the difference between the previous one that we looked at, where there was no tucking of the shoulder and there was no rotation of the hips.
We'll take your word for it. This is Phil Joseph. Clark, 3 meters out, turns and gives it to Brown. Brown then to Hanbury. It was good hands, but it was a knock on, and then Kermond didn't pick it up cleanly, so he'll come back for the first knock on by Stefan Marsh.
Well, they're becoming their own worst enemy, aren't they? That was good pressure, though. You've got to give them that.
Is that Peter Fox coming in on the man there, Mike?
Yep, he picked him out on that occasion. Obviously, Richard Agar got the message out and say, you've got to make sure you get him. And he did just that.
Keep it quick in the ruck.
Stefan Marsh, 2 tries in the first win at Bradford in 22 years last month for Widnes. Now then, what are we now? 3 minutes away from half-time.
Well, this is where
that's a push and a shove there by Mathers. Surely that's a penalty, isn't it, Stuart? You can't have players pushing and shoving in the ruck, can you?
No, that should have been a penalty, that one.
Go.
Cocaine.
Look at how he gets himself involved. Don't forget, he's a left winger, but he set up a previous attack. A penalty now through his enthusiasm to get up and play the ball will help to take his side over the halfway line. And certainly I think he knows the right times when to get involved. In the last 5 minutes before half-time, when some of the big men may be tiring, puts himself in the middle and gets his hands on the ball.
Let me ask you a question, Phil. Would you pick him for England in the World Cup?
I think it'd be a great shout closer to the end of the season, maybe even in the squad for the enthusiasm he brings.
Ollie Wilkes will take it forward here for Wakefield. And Matty Wildey's waiting at dummy half. He gives it to Tim Smith. Smith to Lauatiti. Over the top to Cocaine. Well, it was inventive and brilliant by Cocaine under pressure from Owens. He flipped the ball inside.
Why didn't he just go for it? It was a beautiful pass.
I think he did. And then you realise where he was going forward, so it's going to be a tap on the 20-metre line for Widnes.
Jack Owens done ever so well there to keep his feet and drive Ben Cocaine into and over the touchline. Did a wonderful job there, the young man.
Here's Phil Joseph now.
I'm waiting for Reece Hanbury, Eddie, to have a bigger involvement. You know, no player in Super League's made more breaks than Hanbury over the last month. 4 games he's been sensational, but we haven't seen much from him yet tonight.
There he was, just behind John Clark with the green boots was Hanbury. Peter Fox did well then, funneling back and taking that out of the air with the sun in his eyes.
Not only that, Eddie, he anticipated that they were going to kick early. They kicked on the 3rd, and normally a winger will not go back until it's either 4 or 5. Obviously, he's got the message that Clark is going to be influencing there with the kick.
We're in the last minute of this first half. Wakefield are ahead 12-4. They've got a match in hand on their rivals. That is against Leeds. It will be played here at the end of the month. Challenge Cup semi-final weekend. Meanwhile, this is Cocaine, hauled down by Clark. Plays the ball to Lauatiti. He finds Tim Smith. He'll hoist it wide, looking for Peter Fox again. That drifts forward on the wing. Fox does well. Palms it back. It's still on the last. Ayton. Well, that's a kick to nowhere.
The idea was great. Execution, very poor in the end. Opportunity, he knew that there's only seconds remaining.
Yes, 5 seconds to the half-time side, and Widnes in no hurry to get this game going again. There's the siren. That's half-time. And a game that started promisingly just developed into a little bit of a scrap. There were plenty of mistakes on either side, but Collis's try, he has gone off injured and to be replaced. Lee Smith improved the try after 3 minutes, 6-0. Arvan's try for Widnes 6 minutes later, 6-4. And then Big Ali lighting up the first half with his try, first of the season, Smith's conversion. We have 12-4 to the Wildcats at half-time. The dream lives on.